Hello, everyone. We're in the main menu for Pure Chess, and we're tackling the chess challenges, top right hand corner, bonus games up top, and we're handling mate and 5 on the right over there. Today, we're going to tackle problem number 2. Now, as always, if you'd like, you can hit pause and take a minute to analyze this if you haven't done so already. Okay, we have another one of these tricky mate and 5 problems. Now, this one was a bit of a challenge for me to figure out how to do. I could figure out a lot of different mate and 6, mate and 7, blowing apart the position and stuff. But I had a hard time coming up with mate and 5, and what I actually had to do is go back and watch some of my other videos that I made on mate and 5 problems and look at like my philosophy and what I was trying to tell myself. And that is basically that you want to try to simplify if you can and get a series of checks to put pressure when you're solving problems like this. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of complications, and what you want to do to solve something like this is you want to simplify, uh, get a series of checks, significantly shorten down the variations and options, because this game can get really, really complicated. And in order to solve a problem like this, it's mate and 5, we've got to simplify. So there's a lot of different stuff going on here. Basically, black has a king on g8. And that king has no flight squares. The two flight squares that it would have, be at h7, h8, are blocked by a rook on h5. We've got a decently positioned bishop on d3, and of course we've got a queen on d1. We also have a rook on f1. Rook's not going to be a factor here, neither are these pawns. We're basically going to solve it with these three pieces. Basically, rook, bishop, queen. Black has some pawns over here that it can do some stuff with, particularly g7, f7. It's got a pawn that's kind of in the way on g5, at least for us. And, of course, it has a queen on d6, and a bishop that kind of can mess with our moves on the bishop's position on d7. There's a lot of different variations that you can come up with that might be able to work to get it to mate 6 or mate 7, but we need mate 5. So we gotta be aggressive, and we've got to be smart. What we want to do basically is we want to do a series of checks, and we want to box the king in where it can't, where the only move it has, it's only down to one move, and we can get, our queen in place to finish it off. So, since we're doing the obvious, that means there's only one or two checks we can do, and that's with either the bishop or, of course, the rook on h5. What we're going to do is we're going to play check with the bishop. We're going to play bishop to h7, check. And the reason we're doing that is because the bishop that we have is protected by the rook on h5, number one, and number two, we can move the bishop again and create a discover check. But what has that basically done? That's done nothing, really, in terms of moving black around and stuff. But what it has done is it's improved our position. If you can see the mating pattern, good. If you can't, you will see it shortly, and that's perfectly fine. Because I'd actually tried this variation, I did not see the mating pattern the first couple times I tried it. Okay. We've got a queen, again, on d1. We'd like to utilize here, but we're not utilizing it. So what we're going to do is we want to keep black from moving any of these. Black's got a lot of pieces here, and we want to keep black from using any of those pieces. So the only move I see, well, there's only two checks basically you could do. We could play the bishop back to h7 check, but that doesn't improve our position. We don't gain material, so that's not going to do it. The only thing we can do to improve our position is play rook h5 to h8 check. And it's going to bring black's king out because black has to capture. But the good news for us is now we can play the d1 queen to h5, and there's nothing black can play to block it. So queen to h5 check. Since nothing black can do to block it, black can only move the king back to g8. And as you can probably guess, black is boxed in. All we gotta do is play queen to h7. Checkmate, problem solved. And of course, that wraps this up. I'm signing out. I would like to thank you for watching, and hopefully this helped out a little bit.